familiar with some of the art science literature would know that a Latvian mathematician came up with a way of how to crochet a hyperbolic plane. But more later on this, we're looking at handmade, hand-fashioned electronics. So instead of store-bought stuff, how can you make your own electromagnets? How do you make your own speakers? But we're also looking at some other, such as if we want to make a flock of birds, we might look at the biology of the flocking and science.
Yeah, art, science, craft, textiles, media arts, all mixing together. I'm going to join these two now. The same way as I joined the cap and the stem too. And you can see my purple mushroom. This is I Purple You to all the BTS Army people that are out there and stressing out that BTS has cancelled all the concerts.
Recently?
Waiting, well, in March and stuff. So people have been very upset. So make a mushroom to make yourself feel better. And I'm nearly done, and I'll pass this on. So it's not bad. The top is very firm. The bottom is actually nearly done as well. And I could probably do it for another 5 minutes, and that will be absolutely fine. So it's not about the smoothness. It's about the expression. You can really use your color in a creative way. Let the lace come through. You can actually sculpt it as well, where you have got different shapes. So if I chose to, I can actually, if you can see, I keep stabbing it in one spot just to give it a little bit more character, a little bit more indentation, and it gives it a personality, because we are thinking about the environment and our extended community, non-human community that's making the world go round, really, isn't it?
I think that, like in Australia at the moment, most of us are allowed out again. Maybe not so for other parts of the world. But this period of isolation and lockdown, I think, have for many people helped them slow down a bit and actually thinking about what's important, in their lives and their daily living. And I think one of those things is also slowing down as you're in an environment too. I mean, we're lucky to be, on a campus with such beautiful grounds, but often, we hurry here and hurry there. But now, kind of in a period of slowdown, we can actually, when we walk into campus and notice, things are flowering, or maybe
we spotted mushrooms the other day
a
as well.
stand of mushroom have popped up, and noticing the weather, noticing things that's going on, I think is also part of this mindfulness as well.
Yeah. I mean, the other thing is too that sometimes the slowing down, if you're not used to it, can be a little bit stressful. You don't know what to do with yourself. You're starting to overthink things. So this is where this call for crisis support organizations talk about mindful, calm approach, exercise, good food, make stuff with your hands, read a book. So now I'll pass this on to Jo. Okay. I'll just show it. If you can see, this is what it looks like so far. Okay, I Purple You.
So now you've taken just over half an hour, I think, or maybe 40 minutes. How long do you think people who might not be so familiar with the techniques, how long do you think that will take them?
I think an hour is fine. Yeah, an hour is good. Yeah. So this one here only took half an hour. It's a little bit soft still, but it also has silk tops on it. So it's a kind of a wild, punky mushroom as well. So you can use different fibers too and be creative. But I think an hour is fine. But the point is that you can keep adding to it. So you can put it down and you can come back to it. So for example, while Jo is putting on the electronics and lighting it up and finishing the final magical touches, I'm going to work on this one.
Okay. I'll just introduce people to a number of different components. So DIY electronics really kind of, as the term is, do it yourself. So there's a lot of things on the, that you can get from the consumer, from the shops, but you can also get them online as well. But what you need for this is there's also a lot of materials for sewable electronics. So some people call it soft circuits. Electronics designed to be sewn onto garments and also into objects like that. So
I'm just wondering whether we want to swap places, because that's whether I'll move over there and you move that.
Okay, so a number of things that you just need for this is some LED sequence or LED lights that's designed to be sewn. So you can see, you probably can't see that well. They're very tiny. But like all LEDs, it's got a positive and a negative, so you just make sure you know which one's which. And like I said before, as Agnieszka has asked an unusual request to have conductive material with wool, which is an insulator. Normally with sewable electronics, we use something like a conductive thread that's made out of steel. But with wool like this, it's not going to work so well. So I'm going to use a silver wire. So you can get it from craft store. So make sure the wire is not insulated. So this is just bare wire. Do you think you can pass me my multimeter over there?
Which one is it? That one?
Yeah. Sorry. Okay, so
multimeter?
You don't need a multimeter, but if you do have one, you can use it to test, using the continuity to test that the wire is not insulated by just putting the probe in there and it beeps or not. I don't have my stuff.
What are you looking for?
My scissors.
Yeah, just here.
Okay, so because the wire is so thin, you can just use either scissors or wire cutter. So I'm going to use this quite stiff. It's not the best thing to sew with, but it works very well for our this purpose. So that's conductive. It's not. Can you hear that noise? So that's the conductivity test, which means that it's not insulated, and we can sew with it. We don't have any problems with, don't have to strip the wires back. So
so a bare wire. People would be looking for a bare wire, right? Yeah.
So with normally electronics have a lot of soldering, but sewable electronics, as the term implies, is sewable. So we don't actually need to solder things. So what I'm doing is I'm putting it through the holes of the LED sequence with the wire, and I'm just twisting it so it secures it. It's a bit hard to see because it's so tiny. It's not hard to figure out. So that's there. Just take another one quickly. With wires as well, if you want to have silver wires and you want to be eco-friendly, you can find wires not just from the craft store. You can find recycled silver, which have been recycled, sources. So it's actually quite. Then it makes the whole project much more ecologically sound. So I've sourced some silver wire from different gauges. So jewellery wires and that as well. That's recycled.
So, it's interesting when one engages in a project about ecology and climate change, and then the whole idea around what materials they use and how sustainable they are becomes part of the problem, or something to consider and respond to it as well. So that's why Joe is talking about finding particular recycled wires as well, because it doesn't actually, it's kind of counterproductive if you can have to go and mine something to create a work about environment. Yeah.
So there's a question. Is there a more environmentally friendly way to colour the wool than to use synthetic dyes?
And Steph, you should be able to answer that one as well. So yes, of course. Wool is very absorbent and absolutely loves natural dyes. There is a long history of using natural dyes and protein fibers such as wool. So I encourage you to investigate the different, and the recipes are everywhere. You can really find them. The interesting part about natural dyes and wool is that you can actually go ultimate eco, where you're using no mordants and no chemicals to actually fasten the color to the fiber. So there's a huge range of natural dyes and wool practices. If you are really interested in what I call purist approach to natural dyeing wool and silk, because silk is also a natural fiber, have a look at India Flint's site, because she's the prophet, the guru of eco-print, where she uses no mordants, no chemicals to bind the colour.
So now I just put the wires on both sides, and I'm just briefly connected to the battery, so I make sure that the connectivity is actually it's got continuity, so it should be fine. Right? We always rise to the challenge. Pressure of threading a needle.
One of the best, I think, fibers so far, that in existence is hemp. Yeah, we have another question.
Someone just wants you to repeat who the natural guy guru is.
Okay, a woman, India Flint. But if you leave a comment, a question down below, we will be able to respond to it as well. Yeah, that's it. You can find her on the website, but also we can provide you with that as well. So you're looking for processes that minimize an impact on the environment, and natural dyeing particular processes are very, very good. You can even use tea bags and coffee and tea and turmeric, domestic spaces as well. This is what I'm interested in as well. I did quite a lot of dyeing with frozen berries as well.
Avocado pits
As well, that's right. And there are some companies that do create synthetic dyes, but they have minimized the chemical impact on the environment as well. But natural dyes are very beautiful, don't you think, Stephanie?
Yes. Especially eucalyptus.
Eucalyptus, there you go. In Australia, there's a big practice with eucalyptus or native plants. Casuarina, which is like a Christmas tree, if you like, pine needle tree as well, and many other trees that you can use locally. And if you're going to do that, if you're going to use foliage and leaves, you can actually use ones that have fallen to the ground as well. Do be respectful and careful how you trim the trees and how you remove the foliage if you're using it fresh. And it's very much part of this mindful practice, because you're walking in the environment and you are collecting things, similar to this workshop where you're kind of observing. We were looking for mushrooms. You have to walk carefully and feel the ground. For us, we're also feeling the country that we walk on as well, and we engage with through making. And Steph's research is around Indigenous knowledge and cycles of time through the dyeing as well. Something slightly different now in chemistry, but that's what I remember from creative arts as well.
Very much the same.
Yeah.
And just piggybacking on that, in terms of electronics too, you can make choices in like I talked about the recycled wire, but in terms of electronics, I also source my tools and materials from, and I don't know whether we're allowed to say people's firm's name, but people who know will know. they make all their most of their electronics onshore, which means they're not outsourcing it. They're creating jobs locally. And they're sustainable as well. So in terms of power source, so now I've sewn the wires with the LED onto the mushrooms very roughly. The great thing about sewing wires is that you don't have to worry about the thread. It's quite easy to thread through. But you can also hide it if you want to. But the important thing about sewing the two sides of the wires on is not to cross them, because they're bare wires. They conduct, so you don't want to short your circuit. So what you need to do is actually then look at which one is the positive side and which one's the negative side, and connect it to the batteries. And now you can see that the light is on, the LED, very, very bright. And they're only driving with 3 volts as well, which is low energy. What I'm using here is called a lithium polymer battery that can be charged, as I said before. You can actually get solar chargers, and this is a very, very low voltage, 3 volts solar power. You can use that to charge a LiPo, which means they're not using batteries that you're going to throw away after you finish. So you can actually have that by your window during the day, charge it, turn it on at night if you want to. So that's me concluded. Would you like questions? Yeah.
Are there any mushrooms that light up like that in
Yes.
the natural world?
Yes, lots of mushrooms with natural bioluminescence. There are some in Australia, and often the light's kind of blue-ish and green as well. There had been some great documentaries on mushrooms. There's one that came out recently. I think it's called The Kingdom. But I think there's a few films called The Kingdom, so look up it's about the mushrooms. And of course, the BBC had produced one on bioluminescence, and a lot of that's focused on mushrooms. But I'm not a scientist, so I don't remember the names of the species, but you can find them, and they're usually blue.
That's why we collaborate with scientists, to find out the knowledge, the true knowledge, the facts.
I think it's actually in that handbook. But collaborating also with textiles and electronics means that we can make things do different, things do unusual things. Once you've kind of got the electricity with the fabric, which means that you can attach other things to it, you can put sensors to it, which means you might turn on, instead of a switch, you might turn on, if you want to put a sensor to it, you might touch it lights up. You can put temperature sensors in it might light up at a certain time. So you can actually do a lot more to it than just put lights together.
And you can create big environments as well, where you can walk in and see these funny little creatures that respond to you as well by lighting up or changing the atmosphere of the room as well. Yeah. So what I was thinking, that as we get closer towards the end, what we might do is turn the lights off and kind of end on the glowing mushroom. Hopefully that will work.
Okay.
But, so just in terms of summarising our project, there are many facets to it, and we have a question.
Somebody wants to know more about the EcoMakers project, so you're already on the right.
Okay. Well, the EcoMakers project is part of the Global Challengers project, Keystone project, Future Makers at the University of Wollongong. There are many projects that are intersecting and contributing to this space. Our thing is, as Joe was mentioning before, inserting the A into STEM around issues of gender imbalance, but also creativity and creative thinking in sciences as well. Technology, collaboration with scientists to raise awareness and respond in a creative way to some of the key issues that we are facing. So while we were doing this project, coronavirus kicked in, and of course making with your hands and working with something that's kind of soft and repetitive also relates to current issues around mental well-being as well. So that kind of added another facet to the project as well. But part of the project, we are going to host a number of workshops. Some of them will be digital and going online as well, like now, but also hopefully as the restrictions go down, we can do physical as well.
Yeah, so we were planning to do a whole host of physical workshops together, but this has given us an opportunity to do this live streaming for Maker Faire, which is really, really great.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
we've nearly.
So we're going to turn the lights off now and see whether we can glow. And thank you so much for being here, and make some mushrooms and put them onto the Instagram side so we can have a look. And hopefully, if there's plenty of mushrooms, maybe we can curate an exhibition of mushrooms around the world, similar to the coral installation as well that's been going around. This one has environmental, but also internal psychological and emotional aspects to it as well. So hopefully you can see them. And we are building up a family. Any questions, let us know. Any suggestions that you have, how we can improve our live streaming, that would be great as well. Because this is the first time that we've done it. So, and want to say again a great big thank you to the Makers Faire, virtually Makers Faire 2020. They've been so supportive to Global Challengers, Your W, and of course Denise and Steph, who have been watching and moderating and lighting our faces in the most beautiful possible way. Much appreciated.
Will be lit by mushrooms.
Yeah. So hopefully you enjoyed it, and we're now going to finish our live stream very soon, a couple of minutes, and go on to and watch other workshops that are part of the Makers Faire, because I did notice there was do-it-yourself costume making that's coming up very soon. So hopefully we'll see you in that space.
Great, thank you.
Oh, very question. Yes, go ahead.
What is the best way to contact you?
Through YouTube at the moment?
Through YouTube, yes. But if you go into the University of Wollongong site, you will find our emails there, Agnieszka Golda and Joe Law, and we can respond to you as well. Thank you. Bye. Keep safe.
Yeah.
Be healthy. And bye.